This gameplay video is brought to you by very generous patron Shuffles. Giada, Font of Hope, versus Falco, Spara, Riku, and Yarok. Yeah, looking forward to what Falco has to offer. I do want to build that one. We will keep this hand. Ponder for Falco. And there is a Pearl Medallion, so we could go for that next turn, but then we'd be holding off on Giada. Either way, we're going for Myriad Landscape here. Ready to untap that. Arbor Elf for Yarok. Then we see Sensei's Top from the top deck manipulation player. That came down pretty quickly. I assume that if there was a negate here that they would have wanted to counter that. I'll hope that they don't have a means of countering a creature. We draw into a land, throw that out, go for Giada. And they did have priority held up there for a second, but decided to allow our commander down, so yeah, I think I'd be more worried about Yarok personally. We see Wood Elves for Yarok, so likely to see their commander next turn. A Fabricate is search for an artifact, put it into hand. And searching up a Precursor Golem, so yeah, it seems as though it's a more casual Riku build. This is supposed to be a more casual game because, unfortunately, Mono White still isn't very good on Magic Online. For all the extra support with card draw and stuff that we've got into over the past year or so, so much of it isn't showing up on Magic Online, annoyingly, because it's in supplemental, special commander sets and stuff like that, so yeah, we're not getting any of it on Magic Online, which is largely pointless. Sensei's Top being spun anyway. Sword of Truth and Justice for the Bant player. Okay, no Ketra's Monument, bit more ramp for us. We'll drop a land. I think we're going for the Pearl Medallion first of all. That will make our white spells cost one less. And then might as well swing in. We'll go in towards the Yarok player. And then that makes the Resplendent Angel only cost 2 mana, thanks to the Pearl Medallion, so we can go for Resplendent Angel, which comes in with a plus counter. And there we see Yarok, the second commander, coming into play. Golden Guardian, so turns out this might be a Riku Golem deck maybe. The Bant player now casting Falco, Spara, Pact Weaver. Alright, and there's a Tome of Legends for us, so we'll get down the plains definitely. Yeah, as much as I'd love to get down another angel here, I just wonder if it's worth cracking the Myriad Landscape. It'll get us closer to the Avacyn. Or we could go for Ketra's Monument and then the Thraben Watcher. That's probably a better idea to get the Tome of Legends going, isn't it? So yeah, let's go Tome of Legends. Tome of Legends entering. I'm just trying to play around some kind of board wipe here. Although, yeah, our opponents are playing into a board wipe if one of them is going to go for it. Someone might top deck one and pull the trigger. 4-4 in towards Falco, and then Giada can swing in at the Golem. Will show that we're spreading damage around. Tome of Legends triggering here. And then the Thraben Watcher is only going to cost 3 mana, so we'll get that into play. Still going to have a decent blocker because we've got multiple angels, so that enters as a 4-4 with 2+ counters on it. Deathrite Shaman for Yarok, 4 cards left in hand over there. And not swinging in with the 3-5, surprisingly. They could have swung in at any one of us. Okay, yeah, apparently no one's going to go for a board wipe here. We see the 4th commander Riku of 2 Reflections enter play. Sensei's Top being activated here, so they'll put that on top of the library and draw. Hopefully they're not about to go infinite on us. They play a Nature's Law, so curiously shuffling away the Sensei's Top. I'm not sure why they do that. Now equipping the Sword of Truth and Justice, so that'll be protection from blue, protection from white, and then it's a plus counter and proliferate, which is particularly good against our deck. Thankfully not swinging in against us though. They are holding up double blue, so I think this turn might be the ramp turn. Definitely want to be landing the Sanctuary Warden because it will come in with a bunch of plus counters on it thanks to Giada, and then we'll be able to swing in and remove those. And keep drawing an additional card. Getting into a plains is really nice. Let's draw with the Tome of Legends. Alright, there's Emeria Shepherd. So, yeah, seeing as how we're getting into the big stuff, I think we definitely need to crack the Myriad Landscape. Maybe we do it on an opponent's turn, make them play around the fact that we could have a Flash Angel, Generous Gift, something like that. All of our creatures have Vigilance here, so we'll swing the Vigilance Enabler Anthem into the Yarok, and then the other 2 can go at Riku. Just worried about the untapped mana here, don't want them to point that at any of our stuff. Putting another counter on Tome of Legends, so should be able to draw an additional card every turn with that. And they are doing something in response. untapping a land with the Arbor Elf, and then casting a Blizzard Strix. So, yeah, that's a 3-2. We should be alright. We swung a 4-4 in over there. That does trigger twice. They've only got one ETB effect, though. Deciding to exile the Yarok and bring it back into play. And also the Wood Elves, of course. So damage just being allowed through there. They didn't want to block with the Blizzard Strix. And then Blizzard Strix will resolve at the end of the turn, bringing back Yarok and the Wood Elves. Hopefully they do it in the right order. They do. Eldritch Evolution. Sacrificing the Wood Elves. They can go for a 5-drop here. Maybe Acidic Slime. That's usually what they go for in the 5-drop slot. Alright, no, that is Tatyova. They've only got 2 cards in hand, so they drop a land into that. And that is gain 2 and draw 2. Followed by more landfall in a Solemn Simulacrum, so they get 2 Rampant Growths from that, thanks to the Yarok. And then that will draw them 4 cards, thanks to Tatyova. I'm guessing that the Falco player doesn't have any counter magic in hand, even though they're holding up blue, because, yeah, definitely would have countered an Eldritch Evolution. In typical Yarok style, back up to 7 cards in hand, and a bunch of mana available to them. That's not good. The Teamer player, with 6 mana held up, deciding to just pass through the turn. We know they've got Precursor Golem in their hand, so not wanting to cast that is telling. A Luminous Broodmoth. Don't see this one enough. It is a really good combo enabler. Still leaving up those colours, curiously. Playing an enchantment. After a while, that is Together Forever. Yarok is holding up priority, which is also noteworthy. I think Riku just didn't feel as though they had anything to do there for some reason. And the support 2 going on to the Luminous Broodmoth from the enchantment. We will crack this Myriad Landscape before the end of the turn. Continuing to hold back their commander. Let's see what we draw into here. That is another big angel. Angel of Serenity. So playing ourselves an Oketra's Monument is probably a good idea. Make our white creatures cost 1 less. We'll get some tokens for our troubles as well. Tap down the Tome of Legends to draw a card. Might get into a land here that we can play. We do, that is Path of Ancestry. It's a tap land as well. So we can get the tap land out of the way and, yeah, just go through to attacks. Send my commander in down the middle, and the 2 big creatures can swing in towards Yarok. Give it another turn round the table and see if anyone has any kind of counter magic or anything. Could be that we're going to see a Cyclonic Rift here, and that'll definitely drag counter magic from someone's hand if they have it. Might be a Swan Song here or something. Playing out a land, we'll draw 2 from Tatyova. Agent of Treachery. So that's going to steal away 2 things here. They steal away the Luminous Broodmoth. That's probably one of the best things they could grab. Stealing our Thraben Watcher as well. So now all of their stuff has Vigilance and can swing in really good. So now all of their stuff gets +1/+1 and Vigilance. Following that up with the Oracle of Muldiah, and of course they have a land on the top. So playing the land off the top, I did see a Dryad Arbor there, so we know they've got another land to make during the next turn. Prime Speaker Vannifar on top of the library now. That was a Blizzard Strix for 4 damage in at Riku. That Precursor Golem finally coming out on their turn. Not sure why they didn't cast that last turn. I don't know what they were holding up. They didn't do anything. Anyway, deciding to pay the Simic into that, so they'll get another copy of Precursor Golem. Always a risky card this, because if someone points, say, Swords to Plowshares, a Lightning Bolt, something like that at it, it will target all of your golems. But they're obviously looking to benefit from that before any of us do anything about it. Oh, that's a scary one. Oko, Thief of Crowns, and I would definitely go for the Yarok. Yeah, they are going for the Yarok. I was thinking maybe you could go for Luminous Broodmoth, Tatyova as well. Yeah, there's some really good targets there. As long as they don't go for us, I'm fine. And then another Planeswalker, a new one from Capenna. That is Elspeth Resplendent. Don't have that in this deck. Minusing that down allows them to get into a Mana Gorger Hydra. And that does have a shield on it. It's going to have a bunch of other counters on it as the turns progress as well. And now deciding to swing in at Yarok. Finally, with the Falco, that'll be 5 commander. It's mainly the Proliferate that they're after here, I dare say. So nothing to block with. They've got protection from all of their flyers. They're all white and all blue. So proliferating all of their stuff, as we can see, highlighted in green. Noteworthy that they put the plus counter on the Mana Gorger Hydra. They can proliferate both the plus counter and the shield counter on one permanent. So proliferate, allowing you to do both of the counters there. A Sol Ring is Okay, I think we're going to try and go for Avacyn here. It's noteworthy that they can untap blue mana with this, but I think they would have countered the Oko. I think we need to stop playing around counter magic really. So we'll get the Sol Ring into play, make that Mana Gorger Hydra scarier. I'll go through to combat here. I will deal some damage to Oko, I think. I don't want them making a treasure and then getting rid of a creature, so yeah, we'll attack the Oko. It's only 2 damage, so our opponent shouldn't be too angry with us. Tome of Legends, yet another counter on there. At the very least, we're not looking like the biggest threat at the table. Our opponents might change their mind on that once they see Avacyn, though. So knocking Oko down to 4 loyalty. Yeah, actually, in hindsight, they can always swing in with this first, proliferate another counter onto that. I imagine some of these Vigilance Flyers deal with the Planeswalkers anyway. Let's play the Avacyn out. That will get us into an Indestructible Warrior token with Oketra's Monument. We will scry 1 before going for the Tome of Legends. And it is a land on top, so we will put that on the bottom. Draw a card with the Tome of Legends. Okay, there's a Mana Crypt. This is going to cost us only 4. So, yeah, we might as well just actually try to start getting a board presence going. Play the Mana Crypt. That scry from the Path of Ancestry really helping us this turn. Making another Indestructible Warrior token. The Sanctuary Warden is going to enter with 3+ counters on it. So we'll say yes to the ability. We will remove a plus counter from that. And that allows us to gain a life and draw a card. Solemn Simulacrum. We're doing pretty good on mana here. We just have to hope that we don't see Cyclonic Rift or maybe Farewell from over here. Now, as it stands here, we might find it worth going for the Angel of Serenity next turn. We can exile this and potentially grab it back because the Vigilance is going to be useful to us. Or maybe it's just worth eventually going for the 6 mana ability on this and we can start making angel tokens. Alright, Demonic Tutor on the top. They are about to draw into that with the Tatyova. And now it's a Harrow, so they might scry that to the bottom with the Temple of Deceit. And they do so, putting a Fabled Passage on top, revealing a Yavimaya Coast, which they will draw into. And now revealing the Sol Ring. So shuffling the Sol Ring away with the Fabled Passage. And now revealing the Elvish Visionary, which they're about to draw into. And it is Ravenous Chupacabra. Luckily, only getting the 1 trigger per all of this stuff because Yarok the Desecrated is an elk with no abilities on it now, thanks to Oko. Demonic Tutor being cast will shuffle the library yet again. This is where we could see a Cyclonic Rift or a board wipe of some kind. Muldrifter on top of the library this time. Okay, that might be what they tutored for, a Birthing Pod. Sacrificing their own Yarok, and then Yarok will come back into play with a flying token on it, thanks to the Luminous Broodmoth. This allows them into a 6-drop from the Birthing Pod. And the 6-drop they went for was a Noxious Gearhulk, so that can destroy something. Noteworthy that they actually get 2 targets from the Noxious Gearhulk because this is not an elk anymore. They have managed to flicker it, thanks to the Luminous Broodmoth, of course. So first off, targeting their own Agent of Treachery so that they can start stealing stuff, so no doubt going to go after the Avacyn. And they target their own Solemn as well. So Angel of Serenity, exiling Avacyn, our other angel, and the Luminous Broodmoth, if it's going to keep doing stuff like this. Might be the play next turn. Ultimately, we're a mono white player having to keep up with 3 blue players, so I don't see this game going too well for us. So Solemn gets the 2 lands for them when it re-enters. And that will draw 4 cards from the Tatyova again. So one of which is Terastodon. And we see a Mystic Snake as well, that's good to know about. A couple of lands being drawn into a basic and a temple. And there we see a Frilled Mystic on top, so they're getting into all the creature-based counterspells. Then the Agent of Treachery back into play, of course, stealing away the Avacyn as we thought it would. And also stealing away Oko, Thief of Crowns, so instead of blowing that up, just straight up deciding to steal it. Oko being pointed at the Sword of Truth and Justice, so turning that into a 3/3 Elk. And then the 4/3 Blizzard Strix swinging in and finishing off the Elspeth. And all the other stuff turning in at the Bant player as well. Maybe going for a board wipe next turn. They are blocking with their sword, so they will lose the sword, but there'll be no losses over here thanks to the Indestructible. Maybe they just have a Sun Titan to grab the sword back or something. And they decide to scoop to that. still at 17 life and no idea what the team of players about to do. But this has been a mixed match game with regards to power. This player hosted the game and did ask for a casual game, but this is what I would call high power as opposed to casual. Well, that is just pretty typical of Magic Online. Playing Acidic Slime now will blow up an artifact, enchantment or land. They point at the respective precursor golems. So if we're not going to be able to swords these or anything, then we might as well get rid of them, because I have no doubt that Riku is going to try and buff these up massively or something like that. And thanks to the Dorks, they've got the Arbor Elf and the Deathrite Shaman. They do have mana for the Mystic Snake that they've got in hand. Some noteworthy discards there. Prime Speaker Vanifar, Rampant Growth, Ramunap, and a Llanowar Elves. And that player scoops as well. This is, like I said, it's a mixed match game, and those two players joining a game that was listed as casual obviously expected a casual game. Alright, a Prismatic Vista. Is it any permanent we can grab back with this? Return a non-land permanent. Okay. Well, I can't swing into my opponent thanks to the Avacyn. So we'll just go for the Emeria Shepherd, I think. We know that they've got counter magic, so there's not much of anything we can do here. Get a Scry from Emeria Shepherd before we go for the Tome of Legends. And once again, it is a land on top. We'll put it on the bottom. Our opponent allowing the Emeria Shepherd into play. So we'll draw a card from the Tome of Legends, see if we can fish some counter magic out of our opponent's hand. Alright, Cathar's Crusade is probably something they should counter. So I'll play the Cathar's Crusade, and then if they counter it, we can fish it back out with the Prismatic Vista. Alright, they let it in. So do we just hold off on dropping a land here so that we can maximise Emeria Shepherd? Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can do here. We're going to have to hope that our opponent doesn't just completely take over the game next turn, even though, I mean, that's pretty much what they've done already. Once again, activating the Birthing Pod, they sacrifice the Agent of Treachery. And there is a Kraytooth Behemoth, so yep, they get the double triggers on Kraytooth, and that is no doubt the game. If we could have got back the Avacyn, or taken the Avacyn away from them, would have taken away the Thraben Watcher as well as, I don't know, something else, probably just the Yarok, exiled that. I still don't think we could have got them, because Kraytooth would have just trampled through everything. Anyway, I'll upload this game regardless. Apologies for the differing power levels, but I mean, it's Magic Online against strangers. There's nothing we can really do about that. I'll upload this and see what you all think of Giada, Font of Hope. If you want to see more from it, then be sure to let me know. Make sure that you consider donating on Patreon as well. Link to that is in the description. Massive thank you to those of you who already support on Patreon. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.